What you're about to hear might change the way you see the world. But before we begin, subscribe to Tony's Horror Stories so you're not alone when the darkness returns. The call. It started with a phone call I shouldn't have answered. "We need a roofer," the man said. His voice was raspy, like it hadn't spoken in years. "The pay is good. You won't have to deal with anyone. Just fix the roof and leave." The village was called Chortovets. I had never heard of it. Google Maps only showed a blurry patch of forest where it should be. I searched forums, archives, nothing. It was as if it had been wiped from history. "There's a road," the man insisted. "Just follow the signs." The money was more than generous, and I was broke. Eviction notices on the fridge, final warnings from the bank. My last job had been 2 months ago. So I loaded up my tools, filled up the tank, and hit the road. It took over 5 hours of driving, most of it on narrow, broken paths, swallowed by trees, until I saw the faded wooden sign, Chortovets, 2 kilometers. The village looked like something out of a faded photograph from another century. Wooden homes leaned toward each other like old men whispering secrets, crooked fences framed overgrown gardens, no electricity poles, no satellite dishes, no signs of life. It was dead silent, except for one house, where the roof was partially caved in as if something heavy had landed on it. It looked freshly abandoned, almost staged. On the porch sat a small package, nails, roofing material, a hammer that looked too new, and an envelope with crisp cash. No note, no names, no contact. I should have left then. I began working. The sun hung low and heavy, the light strangely dim despite the clear sky. The forest surrounding the village was dense, but it wasn't the trees that made me uneasy. It was the feeling that something was listening. I didn't see a single person all day. No children playing, no curtains moving, nothing. Around midday, I noticed that every house had its shutters nailed shut, not just closed, sealed from the inside. Some were even reinforced with chains and iron bars. My gut twisted. This wasn't some quaint superstition. At around 5 p.m., just as I finished securing the last shingle, I heard it. Footsteps crunching in the underbrush. I turned sharply. Nothing. Then a knock. Not on a door, on a window. I looked down. An old woman stood behind the fence. Her skin was pale, her eyes sunken and alert. "You need to leave," she said in a voice like dry leaves, before sunset. "Why?" I asked, stepping down from the roof. She didn't answer. She pointed upward to the dimming sky. "It comes when the light dies." Then she turned and walked away. No limp, no cane. Just vanished into a nearby house and slammed the door behind her. I raced to my van. The engine didn't turn. Battery dead, lights gone. Even the radio was silent. Panic clawed at me. I grabbed my flashlight and tools and knocked on the nearest door. A man answered, maybe 50, beard, eyes full of fear. He opened the door just a crack. "You shouldn't be outside now," he muttered. "Come in, but stay quiet." The house was pitch black. Every window was hidden behind thick, dusty blankets nailed into the walls. The air smelled of candle wax and burnt sage. Salt lines bordered every threshold, every windowsill. Talismans and charms hung from the ceiling, crosses, stars, old bones wrapped in thread. They handed me a wool blanket and gestured toward the fire. "What is it that comes?" I asked. No one answered until an old man raised his trembling hand. "She, the mourner. Who is she?" "She weeps for the lost," he whispered. "She knocks at the glass. She smells your grief. If you hear her, don't speak, don't answer. and never look her in the eyes. Midnight struck. The house was utterly still. Even the old floorboards refused to creak. Then came the knock. Tap, tap, tap. I held my breath. It wasn't loud, just deliberate. It moved to the next window, then another and another. Then came the sobbing. It wasn't human. Low, broken wails, like a voice remembering pain. I couldn't help myself. I peeked. She was there, a woman in black. Her veil shimmered unnaturally. Her head tilted at an impossible angle. Her hands were raw and scraped, smearing the window with red. Then she stopped and slowly turned toward me. Someone behind me whispered, "She always takes someone." I sat frozen by the fire until the light returned. The villagers opened their windows with cautious reverence. The man who had let me in, gone. His chair was empty, his cup still full. No one spoke, no one searched. They just went on with their day as if the night had never happened. My van started instantly. I drove like hell. At the edge of the forest, I glanced back. She was there, standing beneath the trees, waving, smiling. Weeks passed. I tried to forget. Then today, a letter arrived. No return address, no stamp. Inside was a photo of that same house, a new roof, but something else. In the reflection of a window, her face and the note, still leaking. "We'd like you back." I burned the letter, then the photo. I'm packing, moving somewhere far, somewhere without trees, without shadows, without forgotten villages. Because some roofs aren't meant to be fixed. Some doors should stay closed, and some knocks should never be answered. You made it to the end. That says something. If this story made you glance over your shoulder, leave a like, subscribe to Tony's Horror Stories, and keep a little light nearby while you still can.